But has that ever happened with you, Sam, where you have this internal struggle in the moment of being on stage and playing, where you're like, no, I got to take this someplace.
Yeah, loads of times. I just can't remember particular instances. Your story there with the guy wanting to dance with his partner reminds me of a Mask at Judas gig. Actually, I did somewhere in Oxford, up country, and we're playing. It was billed as a metal night. All the bands were original metal bands. Like, there's nothing about covers on the poster. All the names just look like twigs left on the corner of, they're all kind of these death metal names.
Yeah, right.
And we're the
that is true. That's so true.
I can read that font.
It's the death metal font.
Yeah, death metal font. And we're there headlining. It's a small venue, and so people can walk up to the stage and they're kind of there, in front of you, kind of that sort of thing. And I'm playing, one of the riffs. It's pretty technical and involved. I'm clearly playing. There's sound blasting, and this guy's going, "Why don't you play some Black Sabbath? Why aren't you playing any Black Sabbath songs?" Like, obviously, it could be trolling. In the UK, there's a lot of like this kind of behaviour. It's kind of sometimes it's done with love, sometimes it's just someone's drunk and being an idiot. But they were genuinely like, "No, I want to hear Black Sabbath." They'd come to this gig, and they were thinking it's like a request sort of thing, and it's like, well, clearly you got the wrong night. But sorry, that was a different anecdote. But the inner conflict of playing, what's authentic in yourself. I mean, you said about that the person you worked with liked you for your wacky playing there, Chris. You said and everyone I work with, been lucky. Well, let's say anybody who hasn't liked my playing, I've only worked with once. But most of the people enjoy who encourage me to do bad. And the guy that told me to take my whammy bar out, bless him, he's actually a big supporter. He'd be like, "Sam, we've got a production show, and I've actually written in several different segues where you get a solo." And he'd be like, he was like up, and now he sends me tracks and stuff to record on at home for session stuff. But it was just one time with the whammy bar. But yeah, that inner conflict is like you're saying, it's that balance of like, is it me trying to prove something versus is it just where this is going? Like, because sometimes the conflict happens is where the music's really happening and the band's going and everybody wants to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Everybody wants and when you go there, it's like, well, of course, that's what was needed. Like, and as soon if you don't listen to that, sometimes it just falls flat. You can really and if you try and control it too much and make everything perfect and sterile, in my words, it just becomes. I've met my at some points I've felt like, just what am I playing guitar for? Why didn't they just stick on Spotify in the bar? Mm-hmm. There's those sort of feelings. They spent a lot of money on a band. I'm grateful to have the work. But everything has to be so perfect. There's so many rules and all this stuff. So, I will play the gig. I'm good at sort of playing the game, and I enjoy playing the game. But I have to know that it's a game before I get there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that insight. That's an interesting insight. I mean, and especially if you're being hired, not like with Mask of Judas, you're obviously playing. This is your composition. These are your tunes. Mm-hmm. But if you're going into a situation that is, you're being hired to do, X, Y, and Z, and on that point. And I kind of had to ask myself that one question: am I doing this to prove something? And the longer I thought about it, I realized that it wasn't necessarily that. It was this incessant, and I mean, there was a bit of that, but this incessant need to push this boundary. And it goes back to something I had read. What was... If anybody remembers this story with Coltrane when he was with Miles, it might have been the second time he was with Miles. I don't remember, but Miles is like, man, you play so damn much, man. And Coltrane's like, he goes, I just don't know when to stop. So he goes, why don't you just take the fucking horn out of your mouth? But Coltrane was such like a spiritual leader to me from his writings and everything. And I think that was where my obsession comes in, that obsessive idea of practice, not just a technical thing, but just this idea of harmony and how can I bring it in? I've been working on the Barry Harris thing for like a couple of weeks now, and it's not to play it in a jazz setting. It is to incorporate it into a rock setting to make this work. Like I'm fascinated with these ideas, but I'm not necessarily the most professional guy, because I'm like, hey, we're playing next week. Okay, yeah, I'll be there. You have no idea what the fuck you're in for, because I'm gonna bring it. Like that old professional thing. You leave your shit at home. You don't bring it on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't bring my personal life on stage. I'm always happy to be on stage. I think all of us are. It's like, oh my God, hey, this is great. It's a playground. But I bring this there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to impose this here. I wait for the look. Oh, Jesus Christ, here we go again. I had a keyboard player walk off stage one night because we were in an improv, and I just couldn't stop. I was exploring permutation after permutation. And he's like, and all of a sudden you just hear him go, good, and walks off. Fuck this guy. And I just kept playing. I didn't give a shit. Just Sam, don't hire me for any gigs, man. It won't end well.
Well, that being said, I would also love to jam with you guys just because it sounds fun. But there's different people. I guess also it's the people you work with.
Yeah.
You kind of know. I've got bass players I work with, and we just get a glint in our eyes before we go on, and you just know it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah.
And there's also certain gigs where we've done these gigs where you turn up and the whole band is just depths. There's nobody knows each other. You just turned up because of an agency and you've learned the set and you're there. Nobody knows what's going on. And there, the connection has to happen
quickly.
Yeah.
It has to happen quickly.
Yeah, it has to happen quickly. Otherwise, it's sink or swim, right? It's going to go two ways. And sometimes that's one of my favorite things about music is when you meet people you don't know and you do the thing. Nobody's rehearsed anything. It's just go, and then everybody's also just got that inner dial going as well. And there's exploration, and there's the playing of the song, and everyone's hitting. And the people don't know this band has just been made up last minute, And that's really satisfying when that kicks off. But then there's that time when everyone's come in with their kind of fit and they can't quite, and it's just and then the gig is just like pushing a lorry with hamburgers. And you leave that gig feeling like a terrible human being.
I hate that.
You want to quit music
No, I mean, I've done these gigs. I've done like those gigs where one of the guys is like just waiting for the meal break. I heard they're serving shrimp tonight, right? They're serving shrimp tonight, right? Like, dude, can we play? Just want to make sure they're serving shrimp. I don't know, where you're just like, what the hell, But then there's other times you walk in and I mean, especially here in Philly, one of the great things is that I get the opportunity to play with some of the most insane rhythm sections, where you're just like, that guy, this guy named Pepper Holmes, man, drummer. And it's like riding a rocket ship to Mars, man. It's like, oh my God, pocket for days, and you're just like, and I went in like just with sketches of the chart. I didn't even need them because there was so much there to play with. Like he had laid out so much that, like I knew the key and I'm like, okay, I'm okay. Cause I know, but I'm just playing off of him. I was just like, oh, this is what, and I go into that mode. I was like, you know what? Let's do a record. We're just going to do a stream of consciousness record. Fuck it, man. We're just going to hit the record button. I don't even want to talk about what we're going to play,
I love it.
Yeah,
That's a great moment.